It is now time for a lightning talk from Angela Hart from the Commercial Low Earth Orbit Development Program Office at Johnson Space Center. So please join me in welcoming Angela Hart to the stage.
LEO, it stands for Low Earth Orbit. That's a portion of outer space about 250 miles up, and for over 20 years it's been home to the world's most unique laboratory, the International Space Station. In this weightless environment, the space station has enabled scientific and engineering breakthroughs that just weren't possible on Earth. It's taught us more about our planet, physics and biology, and it's preparing humans to travel farther from home than ever before. And as the space station approaches its end of life, America will maintain leadership in LEO by enabling a new era of commercial spaceflight. Through the Commercial LEO Development Program, NASA is working with industry partners to develop the first generation of commercial space destinations. These will be privately owned and operated space facilities, where NASA will be just one of many customers. This new orbital economy will stimulate commerce and usher in the next generation of aerospace engineering, opening the door for scientific discoveries and private astronauts, allowing NASA to continue its critical research in LEO, supporting deep space exploration and bringing those benefits back home to Earth. Welcome to America's future in low Earth orbit.
So good morning, and I really want to thank you guys for letting me be here and give you a quick discussion on some of the things that we're thinking about. I wanted to show that video. One, it's pretty new for us, and many of you know we're a new program, and it kind of gets me excited every time I see it, and so I hope it gets you excited as well. I was asked to come today and talk a little bit about some of the challenges that we have, and so I thought, what greater thing to talk about than requirements, and hopefully that woke you up, and the next few minutes I won't put you to sleep, because I know requirements are all our favorite subject. Can you go to the next chart, please? I think I can do it. There you go. We have a big challenge, as you know, in this plan to go to a commercial LEO destinations and really develop this commercial LEO economy. We know that this strategy that we have is a major paradigm shape from what we've done before, and we know it's going to take different ways of doing business to be successful. Building safe, reliable, and cost-effective space stations is really going to be hard. It was hard to do what we've done on ISS. We have a lot of experience. We know we can meet those technical challenges, but operating at these CLDs and sustaining them in a profitable business-making enterprise may even be harder. And it's not something that NASA is actually our expertise, right? We can help a lot with the technology. We can help a lot with passing on our expertise. But really understanding the challenges that business has to really make this a reality is going to change a big difference in how we look at things and how we work with our partners. As we move into industry becoming more and more responsible, owning and operating these space stations, providing these services that we want for the future, NASA's responsibility involvement should decrease. But what does that look like? How do we do that? How do we do that in a safe and smooth manner? As Joel was mentioning earlier, it's not going to be an overnight thing, but how do we do that and make this transition and ensure the safety of our crew, and ensure that we keep the continuity of the great research that you guys are doing? I love coming to this conference because I'm always amazed of all of the people and all the technologies, all the smart people in the room, all the amazing things that you guys are accomplishing on the ISS. It gets me very inspired, and it makes me feel extremely responsible for this next step and making sure that we do this in the right manner, that we keep all of that science and research going. As a couple of the questions came up, we talked about what does international partner development look like. I think there's been some announcements and people have heard that we have very strong commitment to continuing a LEO National Lab in the future, which will also be something that we have to ensure that we do right so that we can do this on these commercial LEO destinations. And so I could talk for a very long time about all of the things that we need to do to make this successful, but today I just wanted to talk a little bit about requirements. And I really wanted to use this a little bit as a public service announcement because our team is working really hard on requirements right now. The next year, this is our primary focus, is really working with our partners, working with industry, working with our stakeholders, the science community, to really understand what are your needs and how do we do this in a different manner that'll bring us to success. Next slide, please. And as I mentioned, I think one of those big keys is writing the right requirements. And so this is really important for all of us, and that's really hard. Not only just writing requirements is hard. Everybody here, and almost everybody in here has been in some development, has built some kind of hardware, know that getting those right requirements at the right time, getting them down in the very first draft that you have and getting them out to whoever's going to go build that is super important. And if we don't do that, you end up with cost overruns and schedule issues. And this is even harder because what do we really think we want in that next Vision space station in 2030, in 2040, in 2050? It's not going to look exactly like we have today on the ISS. And I would hope it would not be, right? We don't want to keep doing the exact same things we're doing. We want to do them better. We want to do them more innovatively. We want to provide faster science to Earth. We want to have in situ. There's all these things we'd like to do more and more. And so we really need to think about what are those requirement sets that we are going to ask for as that anchor tenant and that one of many customers. Next slide, please. And so I was thinking about that just for this talk, and what are the key things that we're really focusing on? And that is one, and also to focus on how does NASA allow that flexibility so industry can have the flexibility to have innovation, to have ability to control and own their designs, but still give us what we need as we move forward. The first is we need top-level safety and service requirements. We need to be very clear what it is we want, but we need to not necessarily tell them how to go do that, right? We want them to be able to be innovative. We want them also to be working with these users directly. We want them to find other customers, and they are doing that. So we want to make a broad, and those customers may have different needs than we do. And so we got to think about that, and so we want to make sure that we're really clear what we need, that we write it at a high enough level that they have ability to be innovative, but not so high that nobody gets what they need. And then the second thing is really flexibility in verification and validation methods. We have been doing things a certain way for a really long time. Many of our partners have lots of experience in other developments that they have done. They are trying to drive ways to increase business speed and flexibility, one, to allow their users to be able to turn over and change very quickly, but also so that they can streamline, become more efficient, and become profitable. And so we want to drive flexibility into verification and validation, but again, in a safe manner that we still are getting the right kinds of verifications, the right kinds of tests and data being done to ensure that we have both that mission safety and mission success. And then we want tailorable surveillance strategies based on our partners' demonstration. As Joel had mentioned, this is going to not be 0 to 100, right? It's going to take time. NASA's been doing this a very long time, and all of you and everybody at the ISS, they make this look really, really easy from the ground if you're not involved in the day-to-day. It's like, oh, you've been up on space station, it's really easy to launch. Look at all these launches. And I was listening to a panel yesterday, and it really dawned on me, and I agreed with them about the statement that, you know, our kids, especially those of us that have kids that are in Houston and Florida and have been around the space industry a long time, you know, getting them to, oh, come watch TV, go walk outside and see this launch, and it's really commonplace for them, and they don't realize how hard that really is, and all the paper and work that goes behind making that a success and ensuring that safety and that it's repeatable time and time again. And so we don't want to just hand over the reins and say, oh, we trust you, you're going to do everything right. We do trust you, but we want to have our due diligence, and we want to make sure that what we're doing is going to be successful. And in some cases, we have brand new people on the scene. In some cases, we have very, very experienced folks. And so we're trying in our program to think about how can we develop a different kind of requirement that would allow for an evolution for how we work with these partners. Maybe there's a lot more that's asked up front. Maybe they become trusted users. ISS does this in a lot of arenas in their development with their industry partners. Maybe once they demonstrate a certain level, then NASA's involvement decreases. And so we're trying to figure out how can I write a set of requirements that will work for everybody that's interested in being involved and defines the right set of surveillance, the right set of insight and oversight to ensure that we are safe, successful, but allow them, again, that ability to do innovation. Everybody here, I've heard, again, lots of comments, and we have lots of implementation partners that really help our scientists and research get on board, but there's a lot of paper, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of analysis that has to be done, and so we really want to think about what is that right level, what is the right level to continue. And so then the last two items are partnered certification strategy, which is similar to the surveillance stand. We want them to tell us, how are you going to make these safe? And that's really important. They want safety just as much as we do, and so we need to listen to their approaches. And then the last item, which I think you guys are super concerned about, and I've heard a lot in a lot of the meetings, is we want to make sure we have interoperability across those platforms so that science and researchers can go to wherever and whatever is available without having to do a lot of changes. And so that's my quick lightning talk. More that we would like to talk to you about. We'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us. We are going to be, over the next couple months, putting out a draft requirement set. It's going to be going out in RFI to the public. We are looking for anyone and everyone's comments on that. And we really take those very seriously because we think getting that right set of requirements is what's going to start us down the right path to being successful when we put out that certain services contract. So thank you very much.